everyone, welcome back to Melody Ever After. Today I have another movie review for you guys. I recently watched Exorcist Believer, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Oh, Exorcist Believer. Exorcist Believer was the sequel to The Exorcist that we all deserved, because, let's face it, Exorcist Heretic was like a giant flaming dumpster fire covered in clam mayonnaise. Exorcist Believer follows the story of two middle to junior high school age girls named Angela and Catherine. Angela and Catherine go out into the woods trying to contact Angela's deceased mother, and what happens next is not ideal. They come back with a kind of negative spirit energy attached to them, and it does not go well. They go missing for 3 days until they are found by a local farmer cowering in a barn. After they seek medical attention, they are cleared to go home, but things only get worse from there. This is a possession/exorcist movie, if you couldn't tell by the title. There are going to be some mild spoilers ahead, so go ahead and just skip out on this one if you aren't wanting to see spoilers, but I will let you know I'm not going to go in depth as I do in most of my reviews. Exorcist Believer was an extremely mid movie, so we focus on these two girls who we are expelling this demon from, and it is kind of assumed that the demon that is sharing their bodies, that is connecting them, is the same demon that was in Reagan's body in the original Exorcist. At the end of the original Exorcist, the Exorcist apprentice says, "Take me," and jumps out the window, falls down the stairs, and then the spirit is gone. Where did the spirit go? This movie kind of answers that. I liked that it touched back on what happened in the original Exorcist, but there was a lot of stuff I really just didn't understand the motive for. It was clear that Reagan had asked for a demon to enter her body, and that's how she ended up being possessed in the original Exorcist. And yes, it does kind of allude to the fact that, oh, because they didn't do the seance right, they didn't have the item that belonged to the mother that they were trying to contact. That's why they got possessed. But it just felt like, why? What happened? It never shows what they did in the woods specifically that led to the possession, nor did it show what happened in the 3 days in between from the time they were gone. And that just made the movie feel really empty to me. These girls disappeared for apparently 3 days, showed up 3 days later, and they're possessed, and it's like, well, what did they do so bad? Other than try to contact her mother, what happened? What went wrong at that seance? There were a lot of things that were mysterious, like they took off their shoes, and they wandered through the woods, and they had their heartbeats in sync, and I would have liked a lot more context. I'm not Akinator. I don't know what happened because I felt like this movie was lacking a lot of scares. There was also an entire side plot to where Reagan's mother had written a book about Reagan's possession to help others, and it apparently embarrassed Reagan so bad that she went missing and no one had seen her since she was an adult. And this really upsets Reagan's mother, but Reagan's mother helps with the possession of Angela and Catherine. Overall, that just felt really kind of forced. I get that this was a sequel to the original Exorcist, but it just felt like it didn't have to be put in there. I did enjoy seeing the original actress making a cameo at the end, but it felt forced. It didn't feel natural at all. I do love some good body horror, so there were a lot of elements about this movie I really liked. There were fingernails that went missing. Of course, we have the classic head turning around backwards. I love body horror, so it was really good to see some of that in there, seeing them pay homage to the original Exorcist. That was great. But overall, I didn't feel that scared during The Exorcist. I felt like there could have been more. This disappointed me because The Exorcist was actually the first horror movie I ever watched. It was the movie that my mom used to introduce me to the horror genre, so I had really high hopes about Exorcist Believer because they were taking this fresh new spin about a demon inhabiting two bodies. It was a really good idea and concept, but I just felt like it was a little bit lackluster and it was missing a lot of mass. It didn't feel complete. And I think that's what frustrates me the most. Other than the body horror and how they went about it, another thing that I really liked is that this movie shows how multiple cultures have handled exorcisms and possessions and tries to, I guess, educate the audience about how that goes down in different religions and cultures, which was really interesting to see. And I also feel like that this movie was probably more relatable than a lot of other exorcism movies. When you think of an exorcism movie and a possession movie, you think of Catholicism and in the spirit of Christ I rebuke you. You know the drill. You've seen an Exorcist movie probably if you're watching this review. If you haven't, I don't even know how you got here. But the one thing that Exorcist Believer did really well was connecting with a large array of audiences. I believe that there was like an apostolic / Pentecostal character. There was probably like a Baptist Southern church character. There was a non-denominational / non-practicing Christian character. There were characters who practiced root work and like more pagan / non-traditional practices. There was a Catholic priest. Overall, there was just a wide variety of people who were being affected by these two girls. It was like it takes a village to take care of the people in your community, and with that came a lot of different characters who come from a lot of different backgrounds. And I think because they incorporated so many different sects of religion, it's a little bit more relatable to a larger scale audience. And seeing all these people come together is really, really interesting, because that's not something that I see tackled in a lot of movies, is seeing Christians, non-Christians, Catholics, Protestants, non-traditionalists, pagans. I've never seen a movie where they are unified by a common cause and are trying to work against the forces of evil. So because of that, I think that it could have been a little bit more frightening to someone who connects with their religion in that way, because it feels like it was written for multiple different types of people. It had the intention of reaching multiple different types of people. So that was a cool concept. I did like that. Being from the South, there were a few characters who had a really bad Southern accent. It was kind of embarrassing because it was just like, they're not Southern. And if they are Southern, the director had to have told them to go even harder on the accent, because it was just so far-fetched. The Southern accents in this movie are atrocious. I'm about to spoil the ending, so I don't know. Tap that +10 button right here. Maybe it's over here. Because like it's flipped for me. The ending was pretty good. It had a very bittersweet ending. These girls are being possessed and the demons come through them, and the demons say, you must choose one will live and one will die. Choose, make your choice. And the priests and the priestesses and everyone in the room are like, no one choose, no one say anything. Well, eventually one of the girls' father says, I choose you, Catherine, I choose you. The demon tricked the families, and Catherine was the one who died. Even though he was trying to sacrifice the other daughter, Catherine was the one who died, because the demon didn't specify which one you chose would live and which one would die. And it was kind of like a trick, which I think is, I love a good trick. I love a good bamboozle at the end of the day. I love it when a character gets bamboozled. It was a very sad ending, but it's very true to the nature of possession movies and dealing with spirits and dealing with demons, is, that cautiousness of be careful what you wish for, be careful what you say. These spirits will try to trick you and deceive you, and I think that was a very interesting ending. The movie was good, but I had seen trailers, I had done research, I had heard that they are rebuking Exorcist Heretic, and I thought, oh, they're gonna give us a really good, scary movie. And it had the potential to be. There were a lot of freaky things in it, but it just felt empty. The credits started rolling, and I remember kind of feeling like, that's it? I wanted more. I wanted more mass, more density, more spookiness, more demons. I wanted more. I wanted it all. I did not get what I wanted. I'd love to know what you guys thought of Exorcist Believer. If you have watched it, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. Horror is my favorite genre, and I love chatting about it. And if you have any opinions, drop them below or head over to my Discord. It's linked in my homepage and my YouTube. I'd be more than happy to discuss the best horror movies out right now, because I am a huge movie geek. If you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a like and a subscribe. It really does help my channel a lot. It means a lot to me. You've been watching Melody Ever After. Until next time.